All right, Shalom. I want to start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakakadash, double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to you, brothers, to the four corners of the earth, preaching this word and also laboring in this word in truth, love, and sincerity. And may blessings fall upon the houses of the 1/3. And this individual you see on the screen is Captain Tazariak from the Ash UPK. And he is all bent out of shape. He's emotional behind when a young girl becomes a woman. Okay? Behind when a young girl becomes a woman. And we know that a young woman, right? A young woman becomes an actual woman when she passes the flower. Okay? When she goes through her menstrual cycle. Okay? Because once she does that, then she is able to what? She is able to bear children. All right? That's just what it is. Okay? And what you see a lot of these people, are starting to do is they are trimming their way. They're not thinking about, when dealing with the scriptures, that you still have to keep an ancient mindset when you deal with the scriptures, man. All right? You have to keep an ancient mindset when you deal with the scriptures. All right? You can't start to try to bring in, this Western mindset when dealing with the scriptures. Then you'll be completely lost. You see? And this is why you have scripture to say things like this. All right? This is why. This is the book of Romans 15, verse 4. And it says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." So we know that these scriptures, they were what? They were written for our learning. Okay, so this is where we get our true understanding from. This is where we get the learning from, is the Holy Scriptures. Okay, this is where we get the instructions from. Reproof, correction, righteousness, law, statutes, commandments. Okay, all these different things that's inside these scriptures, prophecy, but it's what? It's for our learning. Okay, and so we must still keep that in mind, that we have to, when dealing with the scriptures, you have to think with the ancient mindset. Okay, because the customs that they do here in America, Babylon the Great, okay, they're not the same customs that we had in ancient Israel. Okay, they look at, let's say this, give you a few examples, for us, let's deal with for us when a young woman becomes a woman, right? When you go back into the ancient times, when she becomes a woman, right, it's usually about when she passes the flower, right, and it's usually about the age of 12, 13, 14, right, roughly. But when you deal here in America, Babylon the Great, what do they tell you when a young girl becomes a woman? 18. You see? 18. And that's off, man. All right? That's completely off. A young woman becomes a woman once she passes the flower of her age. All right? Another thing, you see? Marriage. According to the Bible, what is marriage? You see? Marriage is sex. Okay? Marriage is sex. But here in America, Babylon the Great, what is marriage? Right? Signing a few papers, right? And then putting a ring on your woman's finger. That's marriage here. You see? You see the differences? Do you see the two differences? Okay? One was an ancient custom in a way, and now you have this modern custom in a way. All right? And just because things is modernized, you can't just go back to the scriptures and say, well, it's modernized now, so we should apply it as that way. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay? It doesn't work like that. So when you deal with the scriptures, you need to get out your feelings, man. All right? And you cannot be reading the scriptures with this westernized mindset, you see? Because topics like this will bug you out, when a young woman becomes of a marriageable age. What you think how old you think Yahushua's mother was, Mary? You think she was 18, 19, 20, 23? No, man. No. She was a young woman of a marriageable age, man. A young woman. You see? Let's matter of fact, let's get this real quick. Genesis 24 verse 67. It says we'll start at 62. It says, and Isaac came from the way of the well of Laha-Eroi. Oh no, I'm saying that wrong. And Isaac came from the way of the well of Laha-Eroi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted up the camel. For she said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took the veil and covered herself. And her servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she what? And she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death, right? So did Isaac take Rebekah in his mother's Sarah's tent and put a ring on her finger and sign some papers which consummated the marriage? No. Okay? He laid down with her. He had sex, which that consummated the marriage. Okay? So just because you don't want to deal with the fact that a young woman becomes a woman when she passes the fire of her age, that's your problem. Okay? But still, that custom was still kept on how we did things in ancient Israel. Even still to this day, that custom is still being done in the Middle East. All right? Just because things have been modernized does not mean that this is not a custom we didn't keep. Okay? Now, we like we make mention, let me see, like as Paul said, what? Let me see. What did Paul say? Right? Okay, so 1 Corinthians 10, verse 23 says, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Okay? So, is it lawful for a man to have a woman, a young woman once she passes the fire? Right? According to the scriptures, yeah, it's lawful for him, but it's not expedient. Okay? Because in this society, right, in this society, that is shunned upon. All right? And you will get locked up according to the different laws that they got in the society. We're not in our homeland. We're not in rulership. Okay? So that would not be wise to do such a thing. And then brothers also made good points as well. Some men, had those young women even betrothed to them, and they didn't touch them until they pleased. Okay? But still, according to the scriptures, if they wanted to deal with them, they were allowed to deal. Okay? They were allowed to deal. You see? As long as she wasn't betrothed to another man, Because if that would be the case, then that would be adultery. If you're dealing with a woman that's betrothed to another man. You see? Let's get it, where's it at? 1 Corinthians 7, right? And let's get this right here. Before we go on further, it says 1 Corinthians 7, verse 6, it says, and it's going into a few things, right? It says, and Paul's talking about how, let every man have his own wife, and let the woman have her own husband, right? It says, verse 6 says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. You see? And even dealing with that, you got to understand that, men are allowed to have multiple women. You see? They're allowed to have wives and concubines. Okay? Let's go up a little bit so we can get to the point. It says, dealing with this issue. Okay? Slovakia. Here we go. So verse 36, it says, but if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely towards his what? His virgin, if she pass the flower of her age. What? If she pass the flower of her age and need so require, let him do what he will. He sinneth not. Let them marry. You see? So what are you talking about, man? And your big argument is you're trying to say that a young woman of a marriageable age, right? A woman became a woman at the age of, what do you say, 18, 19, and 20? No, that's the standard of America, Babylon the Great, my man. That's the standard of America, Babylon the Great, you see? And that's what you going by. You see, you're not going by ancient customs, right? And the Bible is an ancient book, you see? And we kept ancient customs in the land of Israel. You see? Now, we're not telling brothers to, hey, it's okay to go out there and do such a thing. No, because we already explained it. That's not wisdom, you see? But as Paul said, everything is lawful to me, but not expedient. All right? You guys, man, and like brothers, we always say, we've been in America too goddamn long, man. Okay? It's 20, you talking about it's 2020. Yeah, it's 2020, and we still talking about this? That's milk. Like the elder Yashawama say, that's milk, man. We still talking about this situation, man. And whoever don't get it and whoever don't understand it, that's on you, man. If you want to be emotional and have this Babylonian mindset. All right? This is the book of Job. Right? And I ain't going to make this too long. It's going to be quick, man. I just wanted to hit a few points. The book of Job 8 verse 8 says, for inquire, I pray thee of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. You see? So where you going to search for your fathers at? You're going to go into the scriptures, right? Where you going to search for the learning and the understanding of what was taking place, what was going on back then? You're going to go back to the scriptures, right? That's what you're going to do. Okay? This is what you're going to do. You're going to go back to the scriptures, because the scriptures is where you get your understanding at. You see? Now, let's go to this real quick. Let me see. What was the marriageable age woman in the ancient times? And a lot of you guys is doing this, man, because you doing this shit to seek love, man. You see? You trying to be loved by the people and shit, man. The hell with all that, man. Oh, 14. You see? 14. It says, from the song of the Qing dynasty, the age, what's that? From the song to the Qing dynasty, the age of marriageable was set at 16 for men and 14 for women. Okay? Marriage was the only acceptable place for sex, and as a result, Christians were allowed to marry from puberty onwards, generally seen at the time as age 12 for women and 14 for men. You see that? When what? Puberty. You see? Puberty. All right? So come on, man. The marriageable age for a woman was back then was those different ages. Okay? This is what was taking place in the ancient times, and it's still taking places in, it's still taking, place in other places around the world, more of in the Middle Eastern area, okay, and there's other places as well, but still we bring this out just because this is what it is. All right, we bring everything out. We can't just hide the fact that. We're not going to hide it because, it makes people feel uncomfortable. No, man. You see? And a lot of us brothers out here, we got children. We got daughters. But we understand the scriptures and we understand what was all taking place back then as well, too. Everything was done in its order. Okay? So yeah, the marriageable age, as you see, was from 12 on up. All right, not no 18, 19, 20 years old, man. Nah, man. You see?